Welcome everyone to the AmRRON Communications channel with a quick announcement. The Tech Prepper is beginning to put out a monthly broadcast over shortwave radio on the last Friday of each month. That's Friday in Zulu time and date. I'll explain that more in just a moment, but I was honored to be asked to be his first guest for his very first show. That is going to go over the air tonight, March 26th in the United States, March 27th, Zulu time, and I'll explain that. So this is an opportunity for you to tune in and listen, and I'm going to play the teaser video that he put out earlier this week. I was going to put one out earlier, but I didn't want to, slide under what he was doing and steal his thunder. So this video is for any of you who may have missed that, and I wanted to just direct your attention to that. So I'm going to play his teaser video for you so you can see what you missed if you did miss it. And I want to explain a couple of other things. So let's get to the schedule first. The Shortwave Listening with the Tech Prepper is a new monthly shortwave broadcast dedicated to off-grid communication, preparedness, and radio. Broadcasts on WRMI. Write this down, 9455 kilohertz. That'll be on the last Friday of each month from 0300 to 0400 UTC. That's Zulu time. So, for those of you in the United States, which is most of you, the broadcast will be at 11 p.m. on the East Coast. Central, 10 p.m., Mountain, 9 p.m., and in the Pacific time zone from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'm going to play his teaser video for you here in just a second. But first I wanted to say this. This is a great opportunity. This is another component of communications. In a real-world grid-down situation, if something happens in the United States, other countries will still be continuing to transmit from many different places. So this could be a really great source of news and information that we're just not able to get otherwise, especially from outside the country. There will be some outside perspectives that you might be very interested in, like movement of foreign military assets and things like that for your situational awareness. So some people have said, so that's why we say get a shortwave radio. We have covered this in multiple videos. We've got resources, how to receive HF communications, even if you're not a ham radio operator. You don't have to be licensed to receive this communication. Well, you have to be licensed to transmit on shortwave commercial broadcasting too, but you don't have to be licensed to receive. It's the same with ham radio. So you really need to work to get your comms up and get, if nothing else, the ability to just receive HF or shortwave communications. Get a good shortwave radio. We've got them linked. We've talked about them in previous videos and on the website at AmRRON.com. And also for this teaser video, if you go over to Tech Prepper on his video channel, if you look down in the video description, he's got a hyperlink there. Click on that, and that'll take you to different shortwave radio resources. Now, some people have said, if you don't have a shortwave radio, you can always, or like, stop. The last thing we need to do is tell people how they don't need radio communications to actually tune in and listen to this stuff. Because what happens, whether it's DMR radio or whether it's shortwave listening or HF, to direct them to internet, web-based sources and resources for being able to receive communications, especially the new person who's on their journey and they got their first Baofeng and they've got it programmed, and now they're trying to expand and they're looking at HF, and then somebody points them to some resources that they can actually tune in and listen without having an actual radio. Well, guess what? A year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, they're still sitting there with a pacifier in their mouth called the internet, and they do not have HF shortwave receive capabilities if the grid goes down. So we'll talk about those resources. They can be very useful tools. But first, make sure that you are independently capable of grabbing the signals out of the airwaves with no other assistance or infrastructure or services to do that. So got to get your comms up. All right, so here's the teaser from Tech Prepper that aired earlier, or that was posted earlier this week.
This show broadcasts on one 100,000 watt transmitter on 9455 kilohertz on the last Friday of every month from 0300 to 0400 UTC. Now for episode 1, I have a special guest who is like-minded and no stranger to off-grid communication and radio. With that said, I want to introduce John Jacob Schmidt. He also goes by JJS, who is best known for his work on founding AmRRON, the American Redoubt Radio Operators Network, host of the Radio Free Redoubt podcast, a published author. That's an area we're going to probe into, one of my special areas of interest with him, a fellow YouTuber, and more than anything, a patriot. John Jacob, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. And I'm really excited about this new project that you're doing with the Shortwave Broadcast. I think it's going to be very popular, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's received. I think it'll be very well received. So thanks for inviting me.
You were in the process of writing your first book, the Partisan Operator Journals, Volume 1. I actually have a physical copy here. But
all right,
before that went to publication and people like me were able to buy it, tell us what you did to incentivize people over radio to kind of follow along with the development of this book.
Well, that's really cool that you brought that up, because one of the challenges is getting staying power, keeping people's interest. I see a lot of patriot networks try to get a radio network going, and people check in and like, yeah, I heard them, everything works. And, they get 20 check-ins, and the next net, they have 15, and then they have 10. And then pretty soon there's like 4 or 5 of the regular guys checking in every week. And the other people are always busy. They have excuses. Well, AmRRON's experience is the same thing. So I thought, what it would be, what would be good to do is put out something, maybe a continuing fictional story, radio related, that would be interesting, and incorporate some other civil defense type skills into this. Now, you cannot send encrypted messages over ham radio. It's against the FCC rules at this time. Now, you can technically do it, but you can't legally do it. So what you can do is you can post a encrypted part of a chapter of an ongoing fictional story about how radio could be used in a, collapse situation. Post that on the website, and during your net, put the password out over the net.
Like the QSL cards, I thought it might be fun to do a little radio challenge in keeping with what the channel is all about and this broadcast is all about. If you want to play, visit the Tech Prepper.
Data suppressed.
Those of you guys that grew up in the 90s will appreciate that site. Use
data suppressed
as the secret to unlock the challenge. Good luck, everyone.
Not sure if you caught that at the end, but there's a little interactive exercise involved, including the QSL cards. Really looking for signal reports wherever you were when you tuned it in and listened, how you listened to it, whether it was shortwave radio or a ham radio or other methods. Then let them know. And where you are, all that information there, but also the practical exercise that he's got there for you at the end of the Shortwave Broadcast. So check it out. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Have fun. Let them know what you think, and let me know what you think. and get your comms up. All right, this is John Jacob Schmidt. Out.